You're listening to Engaging Early Learners. I'm Rachel Glassman, special education teacher and resource creator. This podcast is your go-to for classroom strategies and teaching support that you can actually use. Whether you're on your way to work or heading home, I'm so glad you're here. Let's dive in. Hi everyone, welcome to episode 1. Today we are going to be talking about classroom systems that reduce behavior struggles. I'm Rachel. I have taught preschool special education through second grade, and I am currently teaching kindergarten through second grade in an emotional regulation impairment program. So behavior, it's kind of like my daily life. And today we are talking about something that changed everything for me. Not better consequences, not being stricter, not being louder, but just better systems. And I don't really know how else to say it, but better systems. Because most behavior struggles aren't about bad kids or bad teachers. They're about weak systems that we have in place. And once your systems are strong, behavior can decrease naturally. And then it's like magic. So here's the mindset shift. If the same behavior keeps happening, it's not a student problem. It's a systems problem. And it's something that we have control over as teachers, which is great news. So that's not blame on anyone. That's power. We have the power because we can't control kids' personalities or the trauma that they have or their sleep schedules or their home lives. But what we can control are things like transitions, expectations, routines, the physical setup in our classroom, our pacing, our clarity, and systems. So most behavior struggles in early grades happen during those transitions, those unstructured times, the confusing direction times, and waiting. So today I'm sharing the systems that reduce 80% of behavior struggles before they even start, if not more. So system number 1, predictable transitions. If your classroom feels chaotic, look at your transitions. And I know we learn about this in like Classroom Management 101 in college, but hear me out. The transition is the behavior. Kids don't melt down during math. They melt down between recess and math. In early grades, especially with regulation needs, unpredictability equals dysregulation. So what works? A visual schedule may be posted and referenced constantly, like a verbal countdown, 2 more minutes, 1 more minute, same transition language every single time so that they have predictability. Music or a consistent auditory cue could help. A doorbell in the classroom, which I love using, that could help because the same sound equals the same reaction each time. Practicing transitions like you would practice academic. So I literally teach transitions the first 2 weeks of school like they are content. And then I also teach them after breaks. But then if I am noticing that something is not working, we are stopping and we are practicing it, just like you would practice something in math. If they are not getting that concept, you're going to stop. And as good teachers, you're going to review it again and again until your students get it, because you know they need that skill to get to the next skill. It's the same thing with routines, procedures, and transitions. So when kids know what's happening next, their nervous system relaxes, just like us adults. Like, don't you feel better when you know what's happening and you feel like you have a consistent daily routine or transition or anything like that? It helps you relax. So system number 2, clear bite-sized directions. What is one huge behavior trigger? Over talking, what I feel like I'm doing right now. Over talking is a huge behavior trigger. Our little ones, their attention span is not meant to last longer than like 10 minutes. And we always expect them to sit for our instruction that is so much longer than 10 minutes. So when you really take a step back and you think about it, a lot of over talking can be a huge cause for our students' behaviors. So in our classroom, we give 5-step directions sometimes to our 6-year-olds and we expect compliance. But here is how to do it, okay? Not giving a 5-step direction all at once, giving it in bits and pieces and including wait time. So 1 direction at a time, say it, show it, and have a student repeat it. Post it visually when you can, and keep it under 10 words if you can. So here's an example. Instead of take out your math book, turn to page 32, write your name and start the first 3 problems for a 6-year-old. Try. Everybody take out your math book. Count down from 5 in your head. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I want everyone to turn to page 32 as I'm writing page 32 on the board. And then when students look up like they don't know what's happening, I'm pointing to page 32 on the board. Whether I have it up there because I'm using a dock camera or I actually wrote it on the whiteboard, the number 32. I'm now pointing to it. I've given that verbal direction. Now I'm giving the gestural prompting by pointing to it so that my students that need that extra support, they're kind of looking up like what's going on. They see me pointing to it. Then I wait another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, everyone, I want you to point to problem number 1. And then I'm walking around. So I'm slowly making my way. I'm seeing to make sure that everyone kind of has footing of where we are. And if not, I'm just giving a quiet gestural prompt by pointing to their book to problem number 1. When directions are clear, behavior improves. Confusion often looks like defiance, but what it actually is just simple overwhelm. Our students, special education or not, need clear directions. So the more we can slow down, give one direction at a time, visually show it or gesturally help them, they are better off. And then in turn, we are better off because we have less frustration of kids that don't know what's going on. So behavior system number 3 I want to talk about. Reduce waiting. So waiting is where behavior goes to grow. If one student is answering and 19 are just sitting there, then you've got a behavior opportunity brewing. So instead, you can do turn and talks, you can do whiteboards, you can do choral responses, you can do movement responses. So stand if you think this, show me with your fingers this number. Engagement and getting everyone involved prevents behavior more than correction ever will. So when students are active, just like adults, all of this applies to adults too. When we are active, we don't seek as much stimulation in other ways, and the same goes for our students. So yes, we want wait time when we are giving directions, but this type of waiting is different. We don't want our students just sitting around and waiting because that causes them to, turn, get distracted, want to talk to someone else while you're waiting for the one student to answer the question. Of course, there are going to be situations where one student has to talk at a time, and that's where we just review the procedures for what everybody else can do. But a lot of times we can engage the whole class and not just have one student talking and 20 others waiting. All right, so now we have behavior system number 4. Regulation before correction. So this one is really big for me in my ERI classroom. Again, I teach an emotional regulation impairment classroom where a lot of my students struggle with their behavior, especially in big, larger settings. So they are in my class so that we can work on those skills and then push them out into the big gen ed classes. So if a child is dysregulated, logic does not work. It just doesn't. You cannot correct a brain that is in fight or flight. So here are some systems that can help instead. A calm corner that is taught, not just used as punishment. So we have a Zen Den in our classroom, and students at the beginning of the year were taught what this is for. It is not just a space where you go or you are shoved when you're having a behavior, or a place where I never allow them to use it because they just want to get away from their work. No. We talk in the beginning of the year what it is for and what it is not for. So having that calm space, and it could be a calming bin. It could be a calming section of your room. It can be a whole separate space if you are lucky enough to have that. But you do not need to have an entire room, an entire space to incorporate a calm corner. I always talk about calm down bins, calm down supplies, calm down area, a calm down chair, but talking about what that space, what that bin, what that room is for and what it is not for before you start implementing it will be very, very helpful. So anyway, a calm corner that is taught, not used as punishment. And we can get into more Calm Corner Zenden details in another episode. But anyway, more systems that help with regulation before correction. Visual feelings charts. I love these. I have an abundance of feelings charts all around my classroom. Also, scripted language for co-regulation and predictable break options. So instead of stop, sit down, try, I see your body's having a hard time. Let's reset. What can we do? How can I help you right now? Behavior decreases when kids feel safe, and safety is a system. I'm going to say that again. Safety is a system. We're talking about systems that will help in your class with behavior struggles. Kids feeling safe and safety is a system. Think about yourself. I just got the chills. Think about yourself as an adult. Do you feel like you are able to hear outside noise and outside advice if you are not safe, if you do not feel safety? The answer is no. So neither do our students. Our students need to feel safe. When they are dysregulated, imagine hearing stop, sit down. It's like you don't want to be told to relax, right? When you're having a hard time as an adult. Like as a girl, I'm a girl's girl. Like I don't want to be told to relax. No one tell me to relax. But I wonder if in that moment someone was like, I could see that you are blah, 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 blah. What can I do for you? How can I help? I feel so much safer than you being like, relax, calm down. I don't want to hear that. So I'm going to say this example one more time. This is very, very important to me and a complete shift for me that I've done in the past couple of years. Instead of saying, stop, sit down, try, I see your body is having a hard time. Let's reset. What can I do for you? How can I help? Now, those last two questions are very open-ended for some of our kids. I know my kids by now. I know some of them can answer that. I know some of them absolutely cannot. So that's when I would pull out a visual. Like I have one of the kids in my class has a visual. I feel, and then there's a bunch of emotions. I need, and then there's options for her on the bottom. So in this moment, I would say to her, I see your body's having a really hard time. Let's reset. I would hand her the visual. I would read, I feel out loud to her. And I would say point to, and she can say it too, but I know in these moments, sometimes it's easier to point. So I would have her point to how she's feeling. And then I would read out loud, I need, tell me what you need. And then she can point or tell me what she needs. That is huge. Safety is a system. We all, as humans, want to feel safe. Okay, let's get into system number 5. The environment matters. Now, again, this is so classroom management 101 of me, but I want you to hear me out. The environment matters. So look around your classroom or think about it in your head right now because hopefully you're not in your classroom. Sometimes behavior is solved by an actual just physical shift, okay? Are my materials accessible? Do my students feel like they know where everything is and when or how they can get it? Are high conflict areas structured to help my students and to help me as the teacher not have to constantly jump in? Are you seating your students strategically? Are you seating your students strategically? Do you have them in a way where you are trying to avoid those conflicts before they even happen? And are there clear pathways? Sometimes behavior is solved by just moving a desk, separating two friends, adding defined spaces, or reducing clutter. So we underestimate sometimes how much an environment impacts regulation, but especially for our sensory sensitive students, our environment is huge. So we want to look around at our environment and our students. Is every single space in your classroom serving them well? But then also think about yourself as the teacher. Is this configuration serving me as the teacher, allowing me to teach my students, allowing my students to be available so that I can teach them? So think about how you feel about the space, but then also put yourself in your students' shoes. When I'm in this space, do I know what I'm doing, how I can get everything? Do I feel safe? And so on in every space in your classroom. So here's the truth. You don't need to be stricter. You do not need to yell more. Please don't yell. You do not need a complicated behavior chart or crazy system. You just need simple systems that work. So increase that predictability, reduce confusion, limit the waiting, increase wait time, like your wait time for student response, but limit the waiting that the other kids have to do so that they're not having behavior. That's the waiting I'm talking about. Support regulation, structure the environment. Strong systems and strong simple systems. These are all simple. We haven't dove too deep yet. Strong, simple systems make behavior feel manageable. And when behavior feels manageable, teaching becomes joyful again. And when teaching is joyful and we are happy, our students are happy and they're learning and they feel safe. If this helped you, share it with another teacher who is tired, like we all are, but still really, really cares about their students and making life easier for you and life better for your students. You are most definitely not a bad teacher. I hope you know that. And you might just need better, simple systems. So I hope this helps, and I'll catch you next time.